That'll help.
Yep, I'm going to click OK on that. There we go. Now you should see my screen. Oop, I had to hit share. There we go. Oh,
Just
wrong
coming
screen.
in. There we
Wrong
go.
screen. Hold on, I shared the wrong screen, so hold on a minute.
I see Copilot.
Oh, you do? Oh, never mind. We're okay then. You see Copilot?
Hi, how can I help?
Yeah, we're okay. Never mind. I shared the right screen. Good. Never mind. What we have here is we got Copilot. And just FYI, in my case, I'm using Copilot. Like Aaron said, you could use ChatGPT, you could use Claude, you could use Gemini, whatever you have access to. In our case, we have an enterprise version of Copilot, so it doesn't share the things that we converse with Copilot about outside of our organization. So it makes it more secure. That's one of the key things that you're going to want to think about if you use AI for any kind of actual work, of real work, where you might have real data, especially if you're a consultant or something like that, and you have client information that you're putting into a conversation. You better make sure you got your ducks in a row, that the client is okay with that and that they approve whatever kind of GPT you're using. Uh, the free ones, I will tell you, share your information. So you want to be very careful about using free versions of this, of any GPT. Okay, so what we'll do is, first of all, we're going to upload our uh, case study to the conversation. So it's going to
Now,
be,
if you have been here in past weeks, you go back to the same tool you've been using for the last 2 or 3 weeks. You could go over to the left and re-enter a chat that you had last week with ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, whatever you're using. You can re-enter that chat so that generative AI remembers everything that you've talked about to this point. So it already has the case study. You won't need to re-upload it. If you want to start fresh and everything, by all means, do what Van is doing here. You have to re-upload the case study to start with. And I did put the next prompt in the chat. So you
should
just,
have to do with gap analysis. Should be
it is.
number 10. Yep. Thanks,
So
Aaron.
yeah, upload the document and you could put the prompt right there with the document, which Van is going to do
I'll
here.
do right now. So you copy it out of the chat and into the conversation. And then we're going to generate a
See what
response.
results we get.
Yep. So we're going to
So
see,
here
we
we're
want to
talking
see,
about
yeah, we
uh,
want to see gap analysis based on the case study, create a current future state gap analysis table that shows current state, future state gap, priority, and an effort estimate. Focus on process gaps, technology gaps, information gaps, compatibility gaps, and include 8 to 10 significant gaps with brief descriptions. This is kind of good so that it has like a stopping point. If you don't declare, it might give you two, it might give you 200. Uh,
yeah, more like
so
200.
who knows what you'll
Get
get. So
brief.
sometimes it's good to put a limitation on it of some sort so it has an idea what to do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, brief description so you don't get 3 paragraphs each.
yeah. So,
But
yeah, go ahead,
this
Aaron.
is really demonstrating that AI can do comparative analysis for you. So it's going to take the current state, the future state, and determine what are those gaps, and give you all the information you ask for in this prompt. But this is just showing how Gen AI can do comparative analysis for you.
Yeah. So what you'll get is something that looks well, I'll show you what I got. And what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about what I got. And, some of you might have got something different or, whatever. We'll talk about what your result is as well. Uh, so it looks like what we get is we got the current state legacy claim system with limited my integration capabilities. That was one of our challenges is that it's not the integration currently isn't that good. Future state, seamless real-time integration between ClaimTrack and Policy Pro, Salesforce, and the notification services. So that's kind of what our end goal is here. So what we're talking about is near real-time notification of the customer of their claim status. In order to do that, you have to have the back end for it. It's not just a matter of, oh yeah, I got to have a text system. You have to have all these things integrated in near real time, and that's what it's talking about there. So I think that's very good. I mean, it's not something that's pointed out necessarily in the use case, but or I should say not the use case, but the case study. But it's a pretty good observation that it's making there, I think. The gap description, legacy mainframe include APIs include middleware ESB enhancements for near real-time triggers. Yeah, okay. High priority. Yeah, I mean that's really good. I mean that's almost our high. I would say, based on this case study, that's probably our highest priority would be just to get that integration. So if you don't have the integration, the rest of it doesn't matter. Um, I don't know what did what did some other people get uh, for your first uh, first gap, if you don't mind
Um,
sharing?
I can share. I don't know if I can share my screen. But I can just read it out. I was looking at the
Yeah,
results
go
you
for
were
it.
getting. Can you hear me?
I can. Yep.
Okay. So I was looking at the results you were getting, and the one that was talking about the no automated notification thing
Oh,
interested
the
me because I
next
could
one.
map.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I could map it, to what the results here were because it was sort of talking about the same thing. And so it says here, I'm using ChatGPT, it says claim
Hmm.
status updates are not linked to automated communication workflows. And then it says the future state is automated notification workflow triggered by claim status changes within 15 minutes. And then in terms of the gap description, it says missing event-based process automation. And I found that really interesting because the one that I'm looking at that you have, it talks about needing to configure a notification engine, message templates and channel preferences and blah, blah, blah. And
Hmm.
so that part of it that has that solution, that approach, the way it will be done.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
good.
well,
That's
but it's quite different, you know. And I gotta
hmm.
confess, is like after we had our last sessions, I went on
Yeah.
there, messed around and stuff just to get a sense of it. And what
Hmm.
I found was that um, the experience I had by asking different prompts and stuff like that was whatever the source of data that you have, it's really limited to that. Like, and I'll just use it as like there's no creativity here. It's the only word I can explain I can use, where it seems to have real blinders on it. So when I look at this kind of thing, it speaks again to that same thing, but also how it is really not predictable.
Oh yeah, that is
You
gonna
know?
yeah definitely gonna be the case in that the way that this thing is working behind the scenes. You have to remember. I mean, it's kind of magic the way it comes out with the answers like this. But as far as being predictable, what it's doing is it's associating words and
Exactly.
short phrases and assigning uh,
Exactly.
math
Exactly.
numbers to them, and then getting and then works off probabilities.
Well, that's
Uh,
it, exactly, right? And so like I'm not a young person, so I started way back in the day. And so when I looked at this, I was really interested to understand what the underlying technology was. So I went and took a gander at all of that kind of stuff. And there was a really neat, interesting article in the New York Times this weekend about coders who and how they're using AI, these tools and stuff, and creating
hmm.
agents that they basically are just coordinating their work. So what they found is the drudgery of coding, they've been able to offset it to the agents and the AI, whereas now they're doing more creative work. And as I haven't finished the whole article, but as I was reading, I was thinking, I wonder if the work that we do wouldn't have more. Like rather than replicate the work that we normally did and create the artifacts that we normally did to be able to communicate to a bunch of technology people to create solutions, if we wouldn't start putting our fingers more into the solution side of the house.
You definitely could, and you're hitting on, I think, maybe a future capability that's going to occur the with AI, is that, like what we could do is say in some of these cases, especially for maybe reports and things like that we would want to get out of this. One of the things we're going to do next is we're going to do a little bit of a data definition. So if you
Mhm.
define the data and you talk
Yeah,
about reports that you would want to get out of that data and say, hey, AI, can you generate me, say, a little piece of Python code or something like that to
exactly.
create this report?
Yeah.
Then maybe the code's not perfect, but it's something you could give that to a developer and go, okay, this is the start of it. I need you to fine tune it, make it better,
Yeah, but
this and that.
I'll take a step farther. And again, it's
Yeah,
because like I'm not young, you know. Like I
neither am
remember
I.
but I remember back in the day, where, if you wanted a report, you had to go to IT, right? And then there was a whole
Mhm.
flourishing of business intelligence and all kinds of tools and power play and business objects and all kinds of goofy stuff. And so users themselves now have the ability, to go and get the data that they wanted and be able to analyze it the way they wanted and all that kind of stuff. So we've really seen that evolution over 40 years. And what I'm kind of wondering when I think of all of this is if we're not going to see something like that, because our jobs are very creative. At least mine has always been very creative, you know,
Hmm.
and stuff. And so I'm kind of wondering if, there won't be more of a close link between like the Silicon Valley guys that where I was thinking about on the weekend reading that article, who are finding themselves move more into our spaces, quite frankly, by looking more in terms of what are the outcomes, what are the needs and everything else, and making sure that the bots know what to code in order to realize that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a crossover there. It's like two subsystems, that cross over. That's
Hmm.
where it's going to be the BAs and the developers. And yeah, they can come over to our side. We can come a little bit more closer to their side by
Exactly.
using AI tools like this.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it definitely changes things.
Yeah.
Um, but
For those
Brave new
that
world.
for those that just joined us, I see a few more people got here. I put the case study in the chat again. Make sure you all have it. And then the first prompt we already did today. So if you want to catch up with us, please do.
Mhm.
Thank you, Peter, for the book recommendation in the chat.
Really
Appreciate that.
good. It's really good. I feel sad that the book is over. It totally held my interest. I'm biased. He's one of my favorite authors, but it really gets into AI a bit, and it's very interesting. That's all.
all right, so uh, let's see. As far as this example goes, we're doing our gap analysis. What I'll do is, did anybody get? I'm gonna look at maybe a couple of mine other ones and see if they all make sense. Like, did anybody get any that don't make sense? Um, Portal only stats. I'm looking at the last one just to see, because there could be some hallucinations and things that happen in here. It could come up with stuff that just because of like we're talking about probabilities of words that go together. It's kind of magic how it works, but it can also that magic can go a little bit awry, depending. So. Uh, I don't know if anybody got anything that doesn't make sense. New centralized for message content templates. That's pretty good.
We ready for our next prompt, man?
I think so. And I think we probably got this one covered pretty good. So we'll move on to the next prompt. You can go ahead and put it out there. So
Done.
with this one, we got a gap analysis, and like I said, one of the key things about this is you could sit down and figure all this out, and there might be things you think of that AI didn't. And but the other key thing is it can give you things that you didn't think of, and that's to me that's the whole power of this is gives you kind of like a consultant to someone to collaborate with without actually bothering anyone to do it. So We'll move to the next prompt. So next, what we're going to do is one of the things we could do with this is, hey, can it help us generate test scenarios? It's something that we all do every day in our normal job is we're going to create test scenarios for whatever we built. So in this case, we're going to ask it to generate 10 to 12 test scenarios based on what we've uploaded. So we will put that into our prompt like so. Generate 10 to 12 test scenarios for our claim system. Happy path, alternative flows, error conditions, edge cases, compliance validation, integration testing. And then include test ID, description, preconditions, steps, expect results, and priority. So let's put that out there and we'll see what we get. So claims notification system test scenarios. One good thing that it's doing is I see it's giving them an ID. So you got test ID 1, test ID 2, right down the line. So that's kind of good. We'll look at the first one, happy path. Status change triggers an SMS notification. Validate that a claim status change update triggers an SMS validation within 15 minutes, because that was our goal from our use case, from our case study. Customer has opted in for SMS. Valid mobile number exists. Claim track status updated by the adjuster. It's got the steps. Adjuster updates the claim status. System detects the change. Notification occurs via SMS and Twilio. Expect the result, SMS notification within 15 minutes. Priority is high. So that's a pretty good test case. Did anybody else get a different first test case or something they want to show from their test cases? If not, I'll page down and we'll look at some of these other ones that we got. So
I put mine in a table.
Oh, it did. Let me look down. I'll look down through. It may have done that with this one too. I didn't go all the way to the bottom. It didn't put mine into a table, but it might be able to if I asked it to.
Yeah, I got a table as well. So it took the previous question that put it in a table and it carried that forward. Because it's not specified in the question in the prompt.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Here, I think mine finally ended. Why these tests matters. These tests help ensure reliable notification delivery, compliance and communication regulations, accurate system integration, good customer experience, reduce operational workload. It's a summary you put at the bottom.
Okay. Email notification for required documentation. Oh, here's an alternative flow that it put in mine, which is pretty good. If they don't have if there's not a valid phone number for SMS, what does it do? Alternative flow if they'd opt out of notifications. Contact info not synced between systems. Error condition. There we go. That one's a funky one. Known data synchronization error, 23% invalid emails. Not sure where that came from. That might have been in the case study. Oh yeah, it did. There it references it right here. So it's saying, hey, if your data is not synced up, then you're supposed to get an error. So that's interesting.
Mine suggested, after the very last thing it put in its answer was, if you'd like, I can also generate a complete QA test suite for this case study, including user accepted test cases, non-functional test, performance load security, API test cases for ESB integrations, and BDD Gherkin scenarios for automation. These would turn the case study into a full end-to-end BA/QA project deliverable.
Wow, that's big.
So
You
it's, yeah,
probably,
it's telling me
yeah,
what else it can generate for me
yeah.
and basically asking me what do I want.
Mm-hmm. And with all this stuff, it gives you a starting point. Is it perfect? No. But it could give you a really good starting point. Maybe it gets a lot of the low-hanging fruit for you that you don't have to sit, down with, a blank piece of paper and figure it out. It gives you a starting point. Um, so yeah, in my case, it listed them all out and it said, hey, if you want, I could create a test plan out of these. So I guess I could say yes to that. Sure, go for it and see what it does. So we'll say, okay, create a UAT test plan.
Always remember using your BA experience and, critical thinking to make sure the answers you're getting back are appropriate, accurate, and complete for your scenario.
Yeah, that's really, really, really key. You got to use your mind to, this is like we've said, this is like having an assistant, that's maybe, an intern or something like that. They're not got the kind of expertise you have. So you have to review what you get out of here and you know, tweak it as needed. You know, in a perfect world, hey, this might get you 50% of the way there, 70% of the way there, versus having to start from 0% of the way there. That's the way I look at it. You're gonna have to modify whatever you get out of this anyway, but it's gonna give you a starting point. Keep you from having writer's block. That's for sure. Um, so,
How do you
uh,
get anything significantly different than what Van and I and Luis have talked about?
Listen,
Anybody
I'd
want to
like to
share?
share what I came up with in Claude.
yeah, go
Okay.
for
I've
it.
been
I'll
hearing
stop
more
sharing
of
and you
that.
can share.
Yeah, I've been hearing more and more of that Claude could potentially do a better job. But let me see if I can get into the screen. Oh my goodness, I guess I haven't tried sharing.
It'll
I
be at
think
the
each
bottom. You may
tool,
have to, you may have to, yeah, you may
Oh,
have to, you may have to close the
shit.
chat you may have to close the chat
Let's see.
messages so that it shows up.
Yeah, here we go. Here
There'll
we
be a
go.
share at the bottom.
so I think
Okay.
each tool has its advantages and disadvantages. Claude or Van had said earlier that Copilot may not be the best image generator. Claude, I think, writes with a lot more flair than what the others do. But you could always do what who was doing that last week for us, Van, and somebody was doing Gemini, and I think it was Copilot or was it Claude? She was using two of them and comparing notes between them.
Yeah, that's something you can do as well.
Here,
Exactly. Yeah, you could,
this might
you,
be here. This is kind of interesting. I gave it, I didn't give it all the verbiage that you had given it. I just said, give me the 10 to 12 requirements. And it already put them into a nice scenario requirements format, test ID. It actually gave you the
Hmm,
different selections here. You can just toggle
oh,
back
that's
and
cool.
forth.
Yeah, so you can
isn't that
sort them.
good?
But
Yeah.
but then on the right-hand side, I added the verbiage that you had given it just to give it a little more um, professional quality, and it really
Wow, those look
put
really
together
good.
a very nice summary.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share
Wow.
that. But
Okay.
to your point, it seems like Claude Claude has kind of a step up on like Chat GPT, unless you use like an AI. I've seen some really good results if you use an AI agent that's if you want to call an AI agent, a project that's trained for business analysis, and sometimes it'll put it into some trained formats like this.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
you could absolutely do that. Once you kind of fine tune what you want to do with it, you can create agents that are more uh, that will help. And really, what the agent will do for you is, all the context of your conversation, like your persona, who am I, what am I trying to do, all that stuff. I'm a BA. Here's the project I'm working on. You can put all that stuff into an agent, and then when you start when you do your prompting, if you prompt through that agent, you don't have to re-specify that every time.
yeah,
Very valuable and a good way to use, your GPTs, all of them. I'm assuming you can do agents with all of the GPTs that are, mainstream. You certainly can do it with Copilot. The free versions might not let you make agents, uh, but there's a really good uh, shortcut for keeping your context uh, versus having to add a whole bunch of context to your conversation every time.
So Stephanie says Claude provides such great visuals. So she likes the visuals that come out of Claude. So if you need images and diagrams, models, Claude may be a step up from the other GPTs.
Yeah, yep, I would agree. Copilot's not great at that right now, but I guarantee you the people at Microsoft know that and they're working on it. So some version of Copilot's going to come out and it's going to be like, hey, the visuals are a lot better now because Microsoft
I'm
is
still
going to
amazed
do
that
that.
they haven't done more integration with Visio. It seems like it's a sweet spot for them, and it just isn't happening.
Yeah,
Good
I'll tell
point,
you what.
Kevin.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. One of the things that we're working at our company, just FYI's, uh, you know, Copilot is integrated with, can integrate with Microsoft 365 Office, all the Office stuff, except Visio. And there's no plans that I know of to make AI integrate with Visio. So um,
Hmm.
it's weird. I don't understand it. I don't know what the whole plan is. I don't know why they don't. Um, but all the other off uh, Office 365, I should say, Microsoft 365 Office functions have some kind of an AI add them. You have to pay for those. I mean, it's a membership, so you don't just get it. You have to pay an extra fee for that. It's around $30 a month. Um, uh, so you have to make sure that you can justify doing that for your organization. If you can imagine, if you have a couple hundred or a couple thousand people in your organization and you're going to charge an extra $30 a month, it adds up quick. It's a lot of money for that integration. And I can tell you, I haven't heard anything about Visio, which is sad. I don't know why. I don't know what they're going to do instead, what Microsoft's plan is there. I have no idea. I wish I knew.
So
But that's a
man,
good point. Go ahead.
you want to get into data dictionary.
Let's do data dictionary next. Yes, sir. Let's do that.
We talked about that
So,
earlier that we were going to get into defining data.
yeah, let's do a data dictionary. So, we talked about test cases. Next, let's see if this thing could start to build us a data dictionary. It may not be perfect. We're going to see what we get. Based on this case study, which is pretty high level, can it build us a data dictionary that makes any sense? We're going to find out. Um, Let me share my screen with you all. Okay, you should see my screen.
I got a table again.
Yeah, we'll put this in and we'll see what we get. Data dictionary. Here we go.
I like this.
Which one are you using, Peter?
Which
Copilot?
AI? Copilot.
Yeah.
We can't use Claude, right?
Not within the company.
Yeah, I've used Claude. I know there was some discussion earlier about it, but I used Claude previously, way back, and I liked it immediately and thought it was preferable to Copilot, but what do I know?
Yeah, for some uses, I would agree. Um, Evidently for creating images and diagrams and that, yeah. Oh, now ChatGPT wants me to upgrade.
Oh,
Oh, I'm nearing my limit for the free version.
oh yeah, yeah. You're running out of tokens, buddy. Uh,
Ooh,
yeah, these
Yeah,
conversations use tokens to identify your stuff. So
what's a
on
token, Van? I mean, is
that's
it a
what it does is as you the different phrases and things in here, like words and like phrases within your AI, each one of those takes up a token. So as you load when you load this case study in there, that's going to take up a bunch of tokens. And then your
oh,
conversations also take up tokens. The results from your conversations take up tokens. So that's how they kind of put a limit on the stuff. Like when what you do with your organization and when you buy a subscription, you have more availability of tokens. Like if you weren't using the free version, you have whatever, maybe 10 times more, 100 times more. I don't know exactly how it works,
it's
but
about revenue then, is what we're saying, basically,
it
ultimately.
is. Yeah. So the free version, you don't get unlimited conversation. Your conversation can only get so big. And to some extent too, this is where all that data processing money, like all the, people are saying, hey, all these data centers that are, to support AI, it takes all this power and everything. If you can imagine, let everybody have unlimited access that, went on forever, how much power that would take.
Blackout.
Yeah, it would cripple the servers. Like they
Down
couldn't do
grid.
it.
Grid down.
Yeah, so you
yeah,
you got to
and
pay. So there's no free
so
lunch with AI.
yeah,
But
I
anyway,
did go back into the chat. I started week one, so I've been using this same chat for 4 weeks.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
okay.
and
So it's
that
getting pretty
so.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big long chat and that, and it told me I was nearing my limit. Gave me two options, either to upgrade or start a new chat.
Yeah, you just have to start over, reload the context again, the case study again, and in my case, our organization, we don't keep our history of chats like I don't know, it's a couple 2 or 3 days or something like that. So they wipe them out. So um, some of it is because of that reason of hey, you don't want trying to be keeping months and months worth of data out there just in case someone's going to want to bring up that conversation again. Um, but yeah, it's got limitations.
So
So
this your data dictionary I gave you?
yeah, so here's the data dictionary I got. It kind of went down through and it has claims data elements. So it has claim ID, claim status code, claim status description.
But
Not bad. I
it's
mean,
bullet pointing everything underneath it.
yeah,
Is
and
it
yep, so it's bullet pointing all the things, a definition, unique identifier for each claim. That's not bad. It even says where it's coming from, that claim tracking system. It's a string. It guessed 10 to 15, 12 to 15 characters. Sure. Valid values, uh, source system claim track. That's pretty good. It figured that out. I'm surprised it was able to do that, really. Uh, is it required? Yeah, it would be required. Data rules must exist. Uh, must have a primary correlation across integrations. Sure. So yeah, not bad.
get a
Uh,
data type?
let me see.
What did it call it? Data type. Yeah.
Data type string.
Yeah. We got strings, date type, Boolean.
Yeah, I'll drop down
And
and see what
mine,
some other ones are.
here, I could show you what I got because it put mine, basically it's the same data and everything. Mine is, very nicely put into a table.
That's cool. Oh yeah, that's good.
So, well, this is below the table. Here's the table. So string 15 characters, true, false, Boolean. So date, time, ISO 8601. So um, yeah, it looks like very much the same data you got, claim ID, claim status, and gives you a small definition, what the data type, format, and length, valid values, source system. So all good stuff. Adjuster ID, customer full name, customer email address. That's always nice to know.
Mm-hmm.
From the CRM. Okay. So pretty cool stuff in there. And after it got done, you see it gave me a lot of terms. ESB event ID. So key data relationships, claim customer notification integration.
Hmm.
Key business rules
Key
from the
business
data
rules from the data
dictionary.
dictionary. Wow, that's pretty neat.
Did you get that, man?
I did get some business rules. Yeah, I got some at the end. I got a few
So I only
business
got,
rules.
yeah, this is the end of this. And, it only gave me six. Why a data dictionary matters.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And
Yeah, you
then
got some
if you
extra
would
stuff
like,
there too.
I always like these. If you would like, I could do this for you.
That is nice that it asks you that.
So, yeah. So anybody else? Anybody else want to share what they are getting? That was ChatGPT, free version.
I'm just exploring here, and I know I'm in Copilot, and in the upper right-hand corner, I never saw this before. If you click, there's a drop down, and it gives you options. Auto is the default. Quick response. Think deeper. Thinks longer for better answers, and then there's more options for
Oh,
different
cool.
GPT quick responses and things. So I
Yeah,
never saw that before.
that might be the enterprise license that we have.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
part
Probably.
it. Yeah, it's part of the enterprise version. You probably won't see that on the free version. The free version is probably always the quick answer. So, but anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you can in our and just FYI, in our and happens to be in our enterprise version of Copilot, you can have it think deeper. You can have it come back with a quick answer. So you'll get some different results. Yeah, because it's going to pull out some of the stops, especially if you say, "Hey, I want it to think deeper." It's going to apply more tokens to it. It's going to look for more. It's going to look at a broader range of possible answers for you. Uh, so it's going to take longer, but you might get a better answer.
Hmm.
Um, One of the things I got with mine as well, just FYI, is at the end it says, "Hey, do you want to take this and upload it into an Excel?" So, all that stuff about the data, I could upload that into Excel, and that's something I have done in the real world. Is build a data dictionary from using AI and using actually existing input, and then kind of back engineered the data dictionary from it. It worked pretty good. So, and it can build an Excel file of the data dictionary, and so I'm actually using that on one of my projects, um, sort of from something that already existed, but it didn't have a data dictionary, but I did have all the input files. I could take that input file and say, "Hey, build me a data dictionary from this input file," and it did pretty slick. But anyway, so yeah, you could download this into Excel and really make it into a good document.
go
Um,
ahead. Got one more prompt.
One
Well, it'd
more.
be
Let's.
nice.
Yep.
I want just a thought because
Yeah,
I
Tim.
had to go through this with machine learning project, and we had a Dickens of the time. We kept on changing the data dictionary itself, the elements, and I think that's going to be the wave of the future that you're always going to have to do that. And I'm wondering if you can train it with your data sources and then have it update itself as your data sources change. And maybe you have to prompt it with specific integration prompts to make sure it stays current, because that by far is the hardest part, I think, especially when
Hmm.
AI and machine learning initiatives are so experimental and the business constantly be changing how they're looking at their insights or the priority of the data. So anyways, that's just a thought. I bet we're going to get there. We're just not
I
there yet.
think you could. I'll tell you what you could as an approach to that might work. AI is really good at comparing one thing to another thing and telling you what's different, at least in my experience. So if you have those interfaces and you're like, okay, I got the old one, I got the new one, I've got the data dictionary that defined the old one. Now tell me the difference between the old interface and the new one, and go and update the data dictionary accordingly and make a new version of it and see what it did. The key would be to have the two things to compare. If you have that, it might work. I mean, you could try it. I don't know. That would be how I would try to do it. It is pretty good at pointing out things that are different between two files. It is really handy for that. So you could give it a try. You have it compare a
Yeah.
couple files,
And
and
then you
then
probably have to have some type of record ID of the data dictionary scenario to keep track of your different data dictionary scenarios. So you could go back. You'd have to do it like in a um, private version for the company, and you'd have to say like this is data dictionary 3.26 for sales management, whatever,
Mhm.
because you'd have to find some kind of standardization so you're always going back to that same tool, whoever's going to be using it.
yeah,
So yeah, no,
you
it's good
could
stuff.
yeah
I,
you
I
could play
agree
around
with
with it.
you. It should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okie dokie. Anything else? We'll do one last prompt, and then we'll wrap it up. So the last prompt we're going to do is change impact analysis. So we're going to have it, based on our case study. Let me share my screen with you all just so you see what I'm doing. So we're going to copy the prompt for a change impact analysis. Share my screen. Here we go. Should see it. And we'll put in the prompt down here. So analyze the impact of implementing the automated claims notification system on the business process, what changes, job roles that change, systems and technologies, policies and procedures, training needs, create an impact assessment with a recommendation of for change management activities. So let's fire that up and we'll see what we get. So it should be looking at our use case and figuring that out. So, whoop, still thinking.
I got a table again.
That's
Seems like
good.
tables.
Mine's still generating. There we go.
Yeah, mine seems to be a lot slower, maybe because I'm running out of those tokens.
Oh, that might be. Yeah. And you know what'll happen too, just FYI, on the free versions, when you run out of tokens, it'll start dropping things from the start of your conversation.
Hmm.
Like, it could start to, you'll be, you'll see where, when I talked about this way up here, it starts ignoring that because it like drops it off. So it's like I think a lot of them do is the oldest part, the oldest tokens. If you're running out of tokens, it's going to throw those out. So and I don't know that they all work this way, but Copilot I know works that way, where it drops things off the front of your conversation if you run out of space. Um, it just so it continues to talk, but it ignores some of the things that happened way up front because it's out of room. That's how Copilot works or used to work. Uh, so let's see what we get here. So for uh, impact analysis, we got impact analysis. Yep. Oh, let me go up. If I can find the beginning of it, it did a lot. Oh, that's data dictionary still. Drop down. There we go. Here's our impact analysis. So claims process changes. And went ahead and numbered them too, so that's kind of nice. Claim status changes within claim track, but no automated notification occurs. That's the current state. Future state, they're going to have automated SMS messaging. So that's pretty good. Customer service process changes. What we expect to happen there is less calls. It's a little tricky for me to do this through Zoom and hide my, there's some stuff I have to hide on my screen. Job role impacts, claim adjusters, adjust update status inconsistently with customers, and that was true in our case study. And you see where it references it there in our case study. Impact. So the adjusters are going to be more on the, they're going to be more on the hot seat now. You know, with this, if we say, hey, you know what, we're going to have near real time notification. Guess what, adjusters? You guys have to update the system when you do your job. You can't just be, you know, if we want this to be near real time, you're part of the system now, and you're part of that real time. And you're probably going to have some SLAs that are going to change. So they're going to need a more work structured flow. Reduced, let's see, accountability for timeliness. Yeah, exactly. If those guys don't put their stuff in on time, the rest of this is going to work. CSRs.
Luis put in the chat, very nice table that ChatGPT created for her, showing the impact between a case, a stakeholder, and a specific area of the notification system, showing high, medium, or low impact in
Oh, nice. Yeah.
that thing. So it's a very nice table in that I did not get that from ChatGPT. So you got something
Well,
completely.
it prompted me and it asked, "Do you want a matrix?" Because it didn't give me any matrices, and I said, "Yeah, sure, give me one," and they gave me that.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. I went
Yeah, I
and
think
stuff.
yeah. So I
this
got to
would
see
be,
if
yeah.
mine asked if I wanted a matrices. Oh, all right.
Good. Let's see. We got about 4 minutes left. Anybody else?
Actually,
Anything they want to? What's that? No, 2 minutes.
yeah, let's wrap up.
Let's wrap it up because we got another 1 o'clock with IIBA as well around prompt engineering. So if y'all can make it to that, great. Let me
Yeah, go
stop
to our
sharing.
website on the events page. And if you're not already registered, I saw Michelle and Peter's already registered for those. So you guys got the reminder. You should have your link to that. If you want to talk more about prompt engineering, we got Miguel Castro from Mexico City coming to talk about prompt engineering. So join us for that. We hope you enjoyed this. A few of you were here. Stephen's been here all 4 weeks. Bish, Luis, Michelle, you've all been here for all 4 weeks. So really appreciate that. Um, so thank you. Whether you were here for 4 weeks or 1 week or something in between, we appreciate you being here. So thank you, and we hope to see you again at a future event.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you again. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, and Van is registered for the next event too.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there too.